Hi, I'm Lucy and this is Talk Mystery to Me, the place where I talk mystery, thriller and horror books. In this video I am going to be reading some books with blue covers. First I'm going to start with The Fortune Teller by Natasha Boydell. The blurb for this, the basic premise is Simone goes to a fair with a bunch of friends. She goes to see a fortune teller, and the fortune teller tells her that she's about to meet the man of her dreams, but she's going to have a choice to make. She can either, if she proceeds with the relationship, it'll be perfect for 5 years, but at the end of the 5 years a tragedy will happen. Or she can choose to walk away now and avert the eventual disaster. So that's where the book kind of starts. I'm a little bit intrigued because it does sound kind of interesting, so I am optimistic that it's going to be entertaining at least. Yeah, so excited to see where it takes us. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through The Fortune Teller and it's decent. There's a few moments where I've rolled my eyes a little bit, but for the most part, it's entertaining if nothing else. Like the fortune teller predicted, Simone met Jude, a man who seemed way too good to be true, and they get married quickly, have kids, and everything seems to be pretty awesome. Except that Simone cannot get rid of this thing in the back of her mind about this 5-year deadline. She's like constantly counting down to it and like kind of expecting the worst basically, and it's like this deadline is almost like an extra character of the book. Like it's very like heavy and tangible and like yeah, it just hangs over her head all of the time throughout everything that she does, and it affects, her day-to-day life, her relationship, it affects her relationship with her children. The point where I'm at now, we are 7 months before this deadline. Simone is incredibly fixated on it, and it really is taking over her life. Simone has taken on the mission of trying to find the fortune teller again, hoping for, I'm not really sure what, either for the fortune teller to say she made a mistake, to reverse it, I'm not completely sure, but she's searching, making it her goal. And yeah. And the thing is, like, it's not entirely the perfect marriage. Like, the husband, Jude, he's quite insecure, and like he seems to kind of fly off the handle at little things, and seems to sulk a lot, and he's not perfect, but regardless, like the marriage started out really happy, and like it is, but a lot of it is just Simone's paranoia. She's waiting for this horrible thing to happen, and it's taking over her life so much that she just cannot even enjoy the day-to-day or her marriage as it is, because she's so focused on this deadline, this 5-year deadline. Anyways, I don't have too far left on it, so I'm excited to see how it ends, where it goes. I've got a few guesses about how it's all gonna end, but nothing concrete, so yeah, I'm excited to see kind of where the story takes us. Alright, so I finished The Fortune Teller, and it was okay. I felt like the ending was almost, I don't know if it was rushed or just a little bit kind of lackluster in a way. Like it tied up kind of all the loose ends. It rounded out the story, but I just kind of felt like, I don't know, I was just a little bit disappointed by the ending, I guess. Wasn't close to what I was expecting to happen, so that was like interesting. Like I will say, this book was it was a fun time. Like, I had a good time reading it. It was entertaining. It was nerve-wracking in parts, a little bit annoying, but yeah, it really does kind of show what paranoia does to someone. The anxiety and just the stress of just waiting for this thing. And it really does ask, even if it's a shame, really, because she just never got to enjoy like the 5 years of happiness. It was just always like tainted and just and so a lot just kind of so yeah, it was a big struggle, but yeah, it was an entertaining read. I had a good time. It was it entertained me enough, so yeah, not disappointed in it at all. Probably wouldn't read it again, but yeah, it entertained me for the day, so that is always what you want. So yeah. The book I want to read next is The Deep by Alma Katsu. I've heard kind of mixed things about this one, but I'm hoping that I am really going to like it. It kind of sounds like it's kind of my thing. So it's a kind of a mix between, from what I can tell, kind of like creepy and also a little bit historical as well. So the book is split into two parts. One part is set on the Titanic, and then one part is set on the Britannic. And both of them follows Annie, I believe, who works on both of the ships. The Titanic on its like voyage, and then on the Britannic when it's a hospital ship for World War I soldiers, like so. And then yeah, sounds like there's like kind of ghosts and presences and weird like disappearances and deaths and things on the Titanic, and kind of trying to solve or find whatever the cause of it is before but then like the ship sinks. And then years later, then Annie ends up working on the Britannic as a nurse, and similar things start to happen on that ship as well. So yeah, I'm thinking I might kind of like this one, like ghost story, historical. I think will be kind of right up my alley, so I'm hoping that I do actually enjoy this. So I ended up DNFing The Deep. It just wasn't overly enjoyable for me. I went into it, the premise sounded really good, I thought it would be right up my alley. It just ended up not quite working for me. The concept was really good. Like, I like a lot of historical stuff, so I thought it would really work. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was between the two split timelines, it just ended up being a lot of characters, and I was finding it hard to follow all of them. And then there's just some other issues I had. So the concept, like, seances and things on the Titanic and ghosts and it being haunted was kind of cool, and I thought I would enjoy it a lot more. It just ended up not quite working out for me. But yeah, and then the other kind of the hospital ship timeline is where I was having the most issues, and there was just a point that I got to that I was just, I am no longer interested, I'm no longer having a good time, so I just decided to put it down. So yeah, there's that. So currently I'm reading The Therapist by B.A. Paris, which I am enjoying quite a bit more. Alice and Leo have moved to kind of a gated community, a little a little area with like a bunch of houses, and we're kind of place where, you know, everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows kind of everyone's business, is watching everybody. They've just moved into this empty house, but Alice has just discovered that the reason they got such a good deal on this house, as is always the way in these kinds of books, is because somebody was murdered in the bedroom upstairs. As far as anyone is aware, the victim's husband was responsible for it, and he has committed suicide, but as we're going to find out, there's probably a bit more to it. For this book, like, it's okay. It's a little bit, there are some parts, like, Alice has become completely obsessed with figuring out exactly what happened, like who the victim was, who the killer was, in a not an endearing way. She's like, every single conversation she has with her new neighbours turns into questioning, like intense questioning about the victim Nina, and like to the point that like you can tell all the neighbours are uncomfortable. Like, if she was my neighbour, I would be avoiding her at this point, because they clearly do not want to talk about what has happened. They're clearly very upset about it. It's still very recent for them. But they are, every time they run into this Alice, they are bombarded with questions and having to relive it. So it's reopening some very like hard memories for them and hard feelings. And yes, she just cannot kind of let it go. I think I've got some idea of where it's going. There's been some hints and clues that I think are important to the story. So yeah, I'm eager to see where this one kind of takes us. But yeah, this one so far has been much more enjoyable. So yeah, excited to see kind of where it goes. One Last Bite by Leah Cups, and this is an arc I got from NetGalley that I'm eager to check out. Sadie gets a job at a Michelin star restaurant. She's called Thistle. She's super thrilled about it and super excited to start, hoping that it's going to be the thing to get her life back on track. But once she starts, she realizes not everything is as it seems. There's a lot of secrets and things happening that she's kind of left kind of in the middle of, and that she also has to, you know, investigate things. So yeah, it's, you know, dog eat dog, chef eat chef world of restaurants, and I'm pretty intrigued by what's all going to happen. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. Okay, so I finished One Last Bite by Leah Cups, and it was okay. It got off to a pretty slow start and took a while to get going, it felt like. Once it did, like, it was alright. So Sadie applies for a job at a Michelin star restaurant called Thistle. She's super keen about it, super excited. but as soon as she starts, she kind of doesn't regret it, but it, you know, not everything that she hoped it would be. It's certainly not her dream job. Her new bosses are kind of all over the place and kind of a bit of a mess. Nora is kind of a hot-headed tyrant. She's mean and vindictive and kind of cruel in some ways. Devon keeps coming on to Sadie, and despite being married to Nora, which just adds to, you know, more tension and drama. And Louis and Devon seem to be hiding some kind of dark secret that may or may not be illegal. So yeah, Sadie is ends up being completely in the middle of all of this, and it's pretty much not necessarily where she wants to be. So yeah, with all that, I thought I was kind of intrigued to see where it was all going to go. It did get off to a really slow start, they found, and it did lose me in places. But I really liked Sadie, and I was really keen to find out kind of what was going to happen and what some of these deep dark secrets were. So that was what kept pushing me through the book. So yeah, overall, not bad. So I finished The Therapist by B.A. Paris. This one was pretty good. There were towards the end, there were several suspects for who the murderer could have been, although with the hints, there was one that was slightly more obvious than others, but still like a seed of doubt until kind of the end reveal. Throughout the story, there are kind of hints about how it might have occurred and like some of the secrets, like some of the neighbours that have secrets. So there is a lot that kind of happens and you can kind of figure out just by reading along. Yeah, it was interesting. Not my favourite book that I've read, but not awful. Alice never really grew on me. Just her personality, and I know it's for the plot and like it's how she gets this information, but just the intensity of it is just like, yeah, like I got to the point where I was dreading her like going over to talk to a neighbor, because I was like, do we need to do this again? Like, can we talk about coffee, the weather, anything? Can we? Do we have to keep harassing these poor people about the murder of their neighbor and their friend? And like, do we have to keep making them relive this over and over again for you? Yes, that was kind of where I'm with that one. It was an enjoyable read, and I had fun kind of solving it, if that makes sense. Just kind of following the clues and seeing where they took me. Yeah, the characters themselves I wasn't like abundantly like keen on, but yeah, solving the mystery of it was a good time. And yeah, the clues quite clever, because like if you just kind of glazed over it, you would completely miss it, and I had to go back a couple of times to like double check some things. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I also found, because there's like so many like houses and neighbours and stuff, and like I kind of found myself struggling with who belonged to who sort of thing. So who I got all the women, like all like the main ones, but like who their spouses were and everything was kind of a struggle, like kind of who belonged to who, and how they all kind of fit together. But other than that, yeah, I had a good time with this one. It was an enjoyable read. Not a bad way to spend like an afternoon. So yeah. The other book I'm going to be reading for this video is How Not to Murder Your Ex by Katie Marsh. This is what happens when you choose a book solely based on the title, but I am so intrigued. Cleo finds her ex Gary dead on the doorstep of her caravan, and chaos kind of ensues from there. she's the only suspect. She's the most obvious suspect. And yeah, she's also just been on a drunken night out and cannot remember anything. Her friends with her are also drunk and hungover and cannot remember much of anything. So yeah, I think this is going to be funny. I have read the first couple of chapters and I laughed my head off. So yeah, I am really excited to continue reading this one, and I'm hoping I have fun with it. I am about halfway through How Not to Murder Your Ex, and this is such a funny book. Like, it's maybe because it's British and like some of the humor, but yeah, it's like just the comedy and the chaos in this book is just quite funny. It's so fun to read. The three main women, so you got Cleo, who is the ex-wife, she's the main suspect, and then her two friends Amber and Jeannie. Jeannie is a new mom to twins and is all over the place with that in her life and just getting back to kind of normal. And then Amber is a detective who has just been suspended from her job and fired from her job. So she knows kind of the ins and outs, but doesn't have any of the access to a lot of it. And the three of them together are just quite funny, and just they're sat in a cafe plotting out like things like, you know, suspects and things on like a Teletubbies blackboard, and I'm just, this is so much fun, so much fun. And just some of the, you know, some lines would be like, you know, Amber looked at her two friends and she's like, yeah, they really are about to be that stupid. And just, oh, it's just such a fun read. I highly recommend this book, and I'm not even completely finished it yet. And I'm, yeah, really recommend this one. So I finished this book and I really enjoyed this one. It kind of hit, there's some really funny moments, there was some really kind of stressful kind of moments where you didn't know what was going to happen. I really enjoyed the storyline. I was so invested in it that I wasn't even worried about or thinking about trying to solve the murder. Like, I was just following it along just to see where it took me. It's done in like two kind of timelines, and then like multiple perspectives. So the one main timeline is Cleo, Jeannie, and Amber, like after the body has been found, and then trying to solve the murder. And then the other one is Gary, the dead ex-husband, and it's kind of the timeline leading up to, so it's everything that he did that day, leading up to his murder. And it's very cool the way it's done. Just like I'll say I wasn't as invested in the Gary side of it as much. He's kind of a douchey character, so not you know, and you know he's going to die. So, but it is fun seeing how his day kind of unfolds and how it's going. But I have a really good time with the three women trying to solve this murder, and it's good, and it's like it's done so well, and just the things that it hits. Like Amber is a detective. Like, she's been fired from her job, but she is a detective, so she still has a lot of the, you know, the knowledge and like the know-how, and just like, you know, the step-by-steps that she needs to do. She has some inside information, like, or like leads that she thinks would work, and kind of knows how kind of that side works. And then you've got Jeannie, who is kind of a frazzled new mom. Her kids are, she's slightly overwhelmed by her twins, and she's not quite ready to, or has kind of lost her own sort of identity as she's become a mom, and is struggling to kind of regain that. And so she's like, throughout the story, like for her contribution to solving this, like she's kind of pushing her own boundaries and trying, like having to do new things that make her uncomfortable, not necessarily like in her element, but it's forcing her to get out and, you know, socialize and like do things. And that's really good. Like that part, like her storyline, I feel kind of, it's kind of accurate, you know? It just kind of resonates. And then Cleo is, you know, she's the ex-wife. She's accused of the murder, and she's trying to get herself out of the frame, basically. And yeah, it's really fun. I didn't guess the murderer, but I also wasn't really trying to, because I was just so invested in the book and the storyline and where it was going that I didn't really care. I was just enjoying the ride, you know, just long for the ride, which is really good, because usually in these types of books I'm trying to, like, you know, hit the clues and like guess it, and I didn't need to for this. I was just enjoying my time with this book. It's good. It's funny. It's dark in some places. It's deep. It hits. Yeah, I'm definitely. I think there is a second book in this series out already, so I am definitely eager to look for that one and pick that one up, because yeah, I think this is probably going to be one of my new favorite series. And yeah, it was really good. I did start to find some things that are in the book a little bit unnecessary to include, but other than that, like, there really wasn't much that I didn't enjoy, or at least it just, nothing really took away from the story. Yeah, it was really fun, and just, yeah, this was really fun. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please check out some of my other ones, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much, and bye!